Hi everyone, it's KFK's Creative Home. Welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be making another lantern for Mother's Day. And I've got something new in store for you that I'm adding to this lantern. So hang in there a minute and I'll share that with you. So the first thing I'm doing is cutting my ribbon, and here's a peek at something new. I'm cutting my ribbon at 15.5 inches, and it is based on the fact of the string of beads I have there on the left hand side. I decided I was looking at a Facebook page of crafters, and a lot of people are doing the sun catchers, and I thought, oh my god, that would be so beautiful to add those beads with the lantern. So I am going to be incorporating that more and more because I don't mind a touch of glam. Okay, so I've cut all my ribbon at 15.5 inches to match the length of the beads I had made. So kind of goes, the length is based on that. You can choose any length you want. So what I'm doing is what I've done before. I tuck the edge under 1/2 inch so I don't have my raw edge showing, because you can see inside these lanterns. And then my ruler happens to be exactly 1.5 inches wide, so I just fold it on the other side of the ruler and then fold it over. So I'm going to do that again for each end of the ribbon. I have cut 6 pieces of ribbon. That's how many you're going to need. So here's a list of the other supplies that you'll need. First, you're going to need some 2.5-inch ribbon, and you'll need about 8 feet of that. And then you're going to need 1 roll of bling ribbon from Dollar Tree. You'll need some glass beads if you choose to use those, or you can just use the bling ribbon. You need a flower pot hanger. I got mine from Dollar Tree. You need 2 of the 8-inch wreath frames that I got mine from Dollar Tree. You'll need 1 roll of wire gauge. You can use 20 or 22 gauge wire. And then you're going to need a solar light. And you'll also need your hot glue and hot glue gun and some small pliers or needle nose pliers. So I've got all my ends of the ribbon folded under, and now I'm going to start adding them to the wreath frame. And you can see how I have tucked it under the frame, and right where the first fold is, I am putting that against the inside ring and gluing it to the first 2 rings. And in between the ring I've put glue so that I'm kind of sealing it right where I'm mashing it together. Now your wreath frame is upside down at this point, so you're looking at the U shape. The rounded shape of the wreath frame is on the table. So once I've got the initial part of my ribbon glued to the frame, I am now gluing the folded under edge, that raw edge that I try to avoid. I folded that under and added glue. I'm using this little tool to help press it down. I am adding my ribbon on each side of the crossbar. See that crossbar in between there? I am going to do that all the way around and leave space, a little bit of space where the crossbar is and a little bit of space in between each ribbon. That way I have somewhere to add my bling ribbon, and I have somewhere to add my glass beads. So the same technique I'm going to apply and continue working my way around this wreath frame until we get all of it done. Well, we get all of the ribbon added. Start that part. Okay, so I hope that you're enjoying the video so far, and if you are, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it with others. And if you're not a family member, consider becoming one. I've got some more wreaths and lanterns coming your way, and oh, my next lantern is a nautical one. You're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. I love it. I was told it's not polite to talk about your own things, but I actually fell in love with it. I think I'm gonna have to make another one so I can hang them outside near my pool. Okay, so we're gonna get all this ribbon attached here, and then we're gonna be ready for the next step. Okay, so for the next thing we want to do is start adding our bling wrap. I'm adding it right where the crossbars are. Now, if I was doing this again, and I probably will do it again, I will add the bling wrap in between the ribbon and add the beads where the crossbar is. So, and I'll explain why later. But at any rate, everywhere there's a crossbar, I am now adding my bling wrap. I wasn't sure how long to cut it or how I was going to attach it. So what I ended up doing was bringing it around, and the flap there that's on top, I actually add a little teeny bit of glue to two of the rows of the bling and just gluing that cut edge on top there. And then I'm going to secure it with some wire. Now let me mention, and I've mentioned this over and over with these lanterns, I am working with a low temperature glue gun right now. So I am able to hold this. The glue is able to touch my hands and it's not burning me. Please be careful if you're working with a high temp gun. Please make sure you use finger protectors. Okay? Alright, so I took that little thin wire there, 20 or 22 gauge, I'm not sure which one Dollar Tree sells. And, excuse me, I fed the wire through to what's going to be the outside and then back through to the inside. So now I'm working on the inside. I'm just twisting it. I only went through it once, brought it back through, twisted it, cut off the excess, and then I'm just kind of folding it to itself because it's just going to sit there. It's silver, it's not going to show. I measured out that I had used about 17 inches, and now I'm going to just cut two more pieces at 17. In the end, I could have used 16, but I wasn't sure. I wanted to make sure I had enough because, you know, once you cut it, you can't uncut it. So I'm working with 17, and so I'm going to do that at the other two crossbars now. Again, just wrap that bling up underneath here so that the wrong side of the bling is facing up, just like the wrong side of the ribbon. Bringing that piece over, completely over the entire frame. I'm going to add a dab of glue to get me started here. Press that down and hold it together. And then I'm going to again take a short piece of wire, feed it through, bring it back in, and twist it together and cut off my excess, and then simply tuck it under. Again, that wire is so thin it will not be showing up anytime soon. Okay, now get this last one. I mean, not the last one. I got one more to do. But I'm going to finish this demonstration here where I'm twisting it and clipping it. And then I'm going to tuck it under. All right, let's see what we got next. I mentioned before that I'm also a jewelry maker, so I have some supplies and tools that you may not have on hand. I'm showing here how you open up a jump ring. You twist it kind of back and forth. You do not pull it apart. You just twist it to the side. So I've taken that jump ring, added it to the last loop of my beads, and I'm adding it to the inner ring of the wreath frame. And then I'm just going to close that jump ring, and that's how I'm going to attach these. This strand of beads is long enough to go across the frame, down the side, just like the ribbon, and then attach to the other frame that I'm going to be adding next. Like I said, I make jewelry, so I kind of know. I created this row here of the glass beads. If that's something you want to learn, let me know. I will probably have to do it on my Facebook site though, because I don't want to mix up the algorithm here on YouTube. I'm trying to make sure the algorithm here sees me just as a wreath maker. Because if I start adding in something different, it kind of throws everything off and I could lose possible views. So right now Facebook I'm still building, so I can throw in a few more things there. Alright, so learning to do this, it will be a step-by-step process. You will, like I said, need a few jewelry tools. They used to sell these as the tools you would need to make jewelry. They used to sell them as a set in Walmart for like $9.99. It was a 3-piece tool set. And then you would get your the wire you need, the beads you need. So I guess to get started, we could be looking at about maybe $20. I just got a bag of beads, 1 pound from Joann, it was under $4. They had a sale. So, you catch them at the right time. You get, you can get quite a few beads for low price. So for projects like this, where you're going to just be mixing the beads, you just need something like that. You don't need the most expensive beads. You just need them to be glass and the light to shine through. So I just took my pliers a minute ago and make sure that wire I attached to the bling wrap was nice and secure and tucked in. Now I'm taking my second reframe and I'm about to put together the bottom of my lantern. And what I'm doing is first putting a few pieces of ribbon on to make sure I have them in the right place. Make sure that the crossbars are lined up. You want to make sure all that's right, or else you'll end up with things not lining up. Your whole lantern will be kind of swayed to one side, Okay, so I'm going to start with this because this is going to very quickly get very crowded and you won't be able to see all of the things I'm doing. But let me just say, everything I did to the top is exactly what I'm doing to the bottom. I just got to make sure I line everything up top and bottom. So just like on the top, I added that glue to the inner and the middle ring. I am pressing that ribbon together so it can adhere to that. And right now, again, you're looking at the underside of the reframe, like the U-shaped part. The rounded part is still on the table. So, so that when you attach it, and you'll see when you finish, it comes over like a little top, and everything is just falls into the right place. Okay, so I'm added my glue to the edge there, holding it down to secure it. And that's what I'm going to do step by step. First part, just add all my ribbon, not the bling, not the beads. We're going to do one thing at a time because like I said, this can get a little confusing. All right, so now I want to work with everything on the table, so you can see how I had to flip it a little bit. And the next ribbon, I made sure I lined up the right ribbon for that spot. I am going to continue, just add this around, and like I said, do the same thing step by step. I am going to let this play. Sometimes I fast forward, but I skip things that I do in repetition, but I want you to see how I just continue to go all the way around and put each piece of ribbon right in place. And like I said, you can't really see up underneath there anymore where I'm adding the glue because it's getting kind of close, your work area. But step by step, one piece of ribbon at a time to make sure you keep adding the right ribbon in the right place. And I have twisted that before, had to cut the ribbon and cut a whole new piece and start over, but take your time, line it up. You can even hold the top part of your frame up to make sure everything is lining up with the bottom. Okay, so we're getting close here. I've got one more to do. I hope you're enjoying this. I am in love with this ribbon. I saw it a couple years ago, and never got it, and then I caught it on sale finally, and I just think it's some of the prettiest ribbon ever. Okay, so I've gotten all of my ribbon attached to the second part, to what I'm calling the bottom of my reframe, of my lantern here. And you see how I hold it up and everything is just lined up top and bottom? Because I got all the ribbon in the right place. It's not like nothing made an X or crisscrossed each other. This is kind of what you want to happen. Now I'm pulling my beads and my bling wrap into the right position. And I'm going to add my pot hanger so that I can hang this up and finish. This is the first time I've made it with the beads and stuff, and I have to figure out how I'm going to make sure I get them at the right length as the ribbon. Okay, if you haven't done this with me before, I add my chains here to the frame. What I'm going to do is I chose to open the 5th link, and that was enough to make the hook line up with the center where I'm going to add my light. You'll see that in a minute. But I'm going to open the 5th link and add it to the middle bar of the reframe. in 3 places. The 3 places I've chosen is everywhere I have a string of beads. This is where I said, when I do this again, I'm going to put my bling wrap in between the ribbon where there is no crossbar and put my beads where there is a crossbar. And that way I can add this chain not only to the round part of the wreath frame, but also to that crossbar, and it keeps it from sliding from side to side. I'll have to see what happens with this lantern. By me adding it in right at this position, there's not much space between the ribbon, so I doubt it will slide from side to side. But we'll see what happens after some winds and rains and normal wear and tear, and the birds try to mess with it or land on it. See what gets moved around, see if things hold in place. So that'll be a good lesson for me to see what happens. All right, so I am opening up the 5th link, adding it to the crossbar, putting the bottom of my chain back in place, and just closing it with my little needle nose pliers. I've shared before that I open up the chain, take the bottom part off, and add it to the wreath frame, and then put the bottom part of the chain back on, because it's just such a close space. It's kind of hard to work in there with that bottom few links added still in place. It's like it won't go around that wreath frame right. So I'll wrap it around there, and sometimes have to add the chain back. In this case, you see I just did it without having to do that, but normally I have to take it apart. Okay, so I'm just tightening up each chain link that I open, making sure everything is nice and secure. Again, if you're enjoying the video, please share it with others. This will really help my channel to grow, and that's what we want here at YouTube. So what I'm doing here is adding that link back onto the bottom piece here, getting everything secured so that we can move on to the next step. Get that nice and tight again. If you can't see this clearly, I will link another video up at the top, I guess. My initial video that I did making my first lantern, where I really show close-ups of each of these little steps. Alright, so now that I've got this attached, I want to add my light. I got this from Dollar Tree, but I had to order it online, have it shipped in. They do have other lights where you can that has a hook where you can just, clamp it. Use these little clamps to attach to the hook. If they don't, then you can just simply take a piece of wire, that same 20 gauge wire, wrap it around the top of your light that you choose to use, and then add it to those hooks right there in the center where your chain has come together. Now, this is my first time working with the bling wrap and the bling ribbon and the beads. I wanted to make sure everything was the same length, so I actually hung my lantern to finish, and it is hanging on to Bambi. You can't see him clearly, but it is a red reindeer that I got years ago from Home Goods. Love myself this deer. It is nice and solid. It is holding the weights. You can see another lantern in the background, the patriotic lantern I did. Because I have not hung that outside. Oops, dropped my glue gun, trying to kill my glue gun. Lord have mercy. The patriotic lantern will not be going out probably till mid-June for the 4th of July holidays. Okay. Now, I have trimmed off an extra piece of that bling wrap. You see me just lay it up there. And now what I am doing is attaching my bling wrap to the bottom wreath frame. So I just did a little bit of glue, snipped off that extra piece, and just like before, taking a piece of wire, going through it, twisting it together on the inside, and then I'll trim off the excess wire and fold that edge of the wire in. First I got to trim it here. Yeah, got my wire cutters. And then take my little needle nose pliers there, or jewelry pliers, and turning that raw edge of the wire in so that it doesn't get you. Okay. All right, we're so close. But I have to do that with each piece of the bling wrap. I did all three of those first, and then we're going to move on to the beads. So I have fast forwarded and attached all of my bling wrap because, like I said, the way everything is here now, you can't really see exactly what I'm doing. Just remember, exactly what I did on the top is what I'm doing on the bottom. And now I am attaching my glass beads. Same thing. And on the table you can see those little jump rings sitting there. I'm attaching one to the bottom of the string of beads and then attaching that to the inner ring of the bottom wreath frame. I am going underneath the entire lantern and attaching it to that inner ring. On the top, we attached it to the inner ring and let it come over the wreath frame. So the same thing on the bottom. It's going under the complete wreath frame, around that whole outside, and then attaching to the inner ring. That way, when you look at the lantern, those beads will come straight down and curve up under the lantern to make one continuous nice look. Okay, so I've got to get two more attached. In this case, my bead string ended up being a little longer than what I needed, and that worked for me. It kind of just hangs really nice. It gives it some flexibility, so when the wind is blowing and it's moving, those beads won't be stiff. Do you see how they're shaking now as the lantern is moving? So they'll have some movement, some give, and that'll help the light to reflect on them. Okay, I'm going to get this last one attached. I'm going to smooth out the ribbon with my fingers and take off my clips. And for the most part, I can say we are done. I want to apologize. We have rain in the area for days. I was not able to get this outside and get a picture, but I will be adding that to the community post later on. But here is the finished product. Like I said, I'm in love with this thing. All right, I want to thank you for spending this time with me, and I'll be talking with you again real soon.